And I would just love for you to go ahead and share with us what it means to be an inner child energetic wound healer and how you discovered this calling.
Yeah. Um, you know what? Let's start with the dream that you mentioned, because I think that's gonna shed light
Yes.
on so many things. So I I had been a healer for a while by then. This is happening in like 2021, 2022. But I kept increasingly being pulled towards Egypt without knowing it. And this trip to Egypt came into my consciousness. And I was like, should I do it? Should I not do it? And around that time, I had a dream where it's nighttime. I am standing by the Great Pyramid and I look up at the night sky, and there are millions and millions and millions of stars, these little dots shining. And I'm just in awe of it. And people start to pass me by, and I tell them, look at the stars, look at them. And some people do stop and look with me, and some people just pass me by. And I woke up knowing that I was looking at the inner night sky. And all of those little dots, little stars, represented the quantum potentials of our inner children, quantum sparks. And I realized that what I call energetic wounds, um, up until that point, which I didn't know, which the dream connected the dots for me, was even if there are clouds in the night sky, those potentials still exist. So in the inner child healing that I practice and you know, work with, which came through just my own inner exploration and my explorations with my clients, is there is no concept of inner children being broken, because you can't. They can't be broken, and they're not here to be fixed. You simply need to find a way to move through the clouds and connect with them. Um, and for me, I had the blessed experience of standing by the Great Pyramid at nighttime. I did take that journey, that actual trip, which brought it full circle. And now, when I work with someone's inner children, I know that we're doing so much more than just trying to heal a wound. We are working with unrealized potentials that are waiting to come to life.
Absolutely. And I notice children because I have two sons and I have a stepson, and they're the light of my world. Okay, so there's a 8-year-old and a 9-year-old, and them two just love each other so much, and there's like best friends. And of course, I have a teenager. He kind of stays away from them a little bit because, he's had his own experience when he was little. But you can see that magic in their eyes, and they're just using their imagination. They're loving the world. They have all they have is love. And as I see as my son's in school, in high school, and you can see the conditioning starts happening, and then more of the fear comes, and the doubt, and the everything. And then I have to remind him about that inner child that he once had. And I remember seeing this video of him when he was like 1 years old in his little crib, and I was just videoing him, and I saw him looking beyond and just gazing at, I don't know what it was, but he had this so like this happy like look of like joy and content. And I know that we also have that within us, no matter what trauma we've gone through in our lives. I was hearing a podcast about how you had a specific trauma that had happened to you, where you had emergency C-section. That actually happened to me as well, with my 8-year-old. And it was a traumatic experience. And then I think definitely life changing. And we can talk about that a little bit later on. But I just wanted to go ahead and connect the dots, and how sometimes that whenever what trauma we experience, there's still that inner child that we nurture and love so much. Anyway, I'm just learning about inner child work, so I think it's beautiful that you're talking about that today.
Yeah, I mean, you're touching upon a beautiful point, which is when people hear the concept of inner child healing, they're like, oh no, I don't want to go back to reliving that trauma, or like, I don't want to dive into the pain. But it really is not about that. I mean, the majority, yes, there's a little bit of feeling without going into the story. We don't need to go into the story because the body holds the energetic records anyway. But the majority of my work is just people coming alive at the end of a session, touching that joyful child, touching that part of themselves that is playful, that is gleeful, that has been just waiting to be unleashed. So yeah, there's an element of definitely rediscovering who you were and who you could have been, even if you didn't have a particularly gleeful or joyful childhood. Those potentials still exist in you. And what you said is so beautiful because it is about love. It is about loving the cloudy places, of loving the icky sticky places. And yeah, and I had certainly my share of those. What you're mentioning too, I gave birth to my daughter in 2012 with an emergency C-section, which sort of catapulted me into all that I'm doing today.
Yeah.